To us, spirituality is not some secluded activity to be done in solitude or in silence. Spirituality is the way of life for Indians. To me, spirituality in one word is doing selfless good to all. And that is why this place is important for any activity, including a startup festival. Because while startup festivals try to do good mostly for themselves or at best to some customers who can pay for it, spiritual startups should do good for all, whether they are able to pay for it or not able to pay for it. That should not be the deciding factor. And that is why spiritual places are important. If I take you back a few centuries ago when India was at the peak of its glory, spiritual glory, generally the places of worship like temples were the nerve centers for all socio-cultural and economic activities. You heard it right, economic activities too, not just socio-cultural. They were the nerve centers where markets used to happen, where people will bring their produces from their villages and sell it in a place which was the place of worship or the temple. You will see there is this main temple and there are many enclosures all around the temple, probably 50, 60 of them. They all look like small shops. But that was the place where people would bring all that they produced in their own local areas and market it there. So in a way, that was a startup festival that was happening in every temple of our country, where people would bring their products, services, and market it, exchange it. And that time there was barter system, not the financial currency that we use right now, marketable instruments. But they were people who appreciated each other's produces, each other's talents, each other's creativity. Because they did not weigh it in dollar terms, but they weighed in terms of the effort that went behind it. The creativity, the innovation, and the solution that each of them provided for each other. A potter could sell his pot or exchange his pot in a barter system with a weaver who would give him clothes in return. A producer of rice might be able to barter his rice with a goldsmith who might be able to give him some ornament in return. Everybody had this system of exchange where each respected everybody's talent and culture. With the passage of time, as modernization of finance has happened, marketable instruments came into picture, what we know as all tradable instruments, including currencies. The entire scenario changed, where banks became more important than these places of worship, where everything started getting monetized, and unless there was a monetary value based on demand and supply, nobody got respect for their craftsmanship. That is where the culture of the country started deteriorating, and people started losing respect for all kinds of forms of art, culture, or tradesmanship. This particular idea of having a startup festival in this place is not merely to show the monetary value behind your efforts, but it is also to create a sense of respect and responsibility in each one of you for each other. That's Indian ethos, that is the Indian Arthashastra, that is Indian Arthaniti, what we call as the economics of India, where everybody respected everybody else's trade. And because it was not having a common currency, but it was dependent on the need of people. And I think that is the kind of culture we must bring in when we start building companies. The Indian ethos of respecting each other's craftsmanship, respecting each other's value systems, respecting each other's talent and culture. Unless that happens, we will be chasing money endlessly, and that is not going to lead to societal welfare and prospect. Take the example of COVID. We did not know how to manufacture a vaccine for COVID because we did not know such a thing ever was needed by us. But we knew how to produce vaccines. We just did not produce vaccine for our country, we produced it for the whole world. More than 100 countries benefited with this Vaccine Maitri program of the government, and so many countries which were incapable of even paying for it, let alone producing it. They did not even have wherewithals of paying for it. India stood up and said, we will give you as a friend to you because we are interested in your welfare. That's the kind of trade and business that India stood for. When somebody needed it badly, we went out of our way to reach it out to them without financial considerations. I'm sure most of the countries could not have paid it back. It was a friendship, it was a friendly gesture. But what did it do for India? It created a tremendous amount of goodwill. new relationships, new trust with Indian businessmen, with Indian ecosystems. Now, somewhere businesses have to think beyond their profits and think of building a value for all in the society, and more importantly, build that element of trust in the society.